back to Coffee with Yvonne, a show for creatives and entrepreneurs. I can talk. You know what it is, y'all? It was that break, that lovely 2 weeks that I had off from the podcast. And I'm just getting back into the groove of things. And today I have a special guest on the show. If you follow me on social media, you may have seen her before. She low-key famous or whatever. I have my mom joining me for the show today, and we're going to talk about our career series, securing and keeping the bag. Because I know in 2024, you know, a lot of us, not myself, let me put that caveat out there. A lot of us are looking for new roles and new opportunities to level up and get more financial stability, whether it's with a side hustle, getting a promotion, or finally getting recognized for your achievements. So grab your coffee and let's chat. All right, so for What's the Brew, I'm going to have Mom chime in on this one. Mom, I'm going to give you a choice of topics, okay? All right, we can talk about Jay-Z, Don Lemon, The Breakfast Club, or Oprah.
If I had to choose, I would go with The Breakfast Club, but my favorite person is Lady O. I like Oprah.
Okay, you know what, Mom? We do 2 stories for What's the Brew, so we can do Oprah first and then go into The Breakfast Club. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay. All right, let me pull up the story. I'm going to play the audio to give you some context of what was discussed before we get into the topic. Please hold.
Oprah and said, what is the deal with Oprah and Taraji? What do you want to share with the class? No, I'm addressing that to Oprah. Oh, because people, I saw your face. No, because people think
I know that it's not a deal.
It's not, but people think you're mad. She's mad. I know that that's not
first
true.
Of all, the thing that is so upsetting to me is that somebody went on and something went viral where they're analyzing us on top of the Empire State. We were cold.
Oprah said you were cold.
We were cold. It was cold.
Yeah, there's a whole
thing we had done that day.
Yes,
that was the fourth thing we had done that day. First of all, I just want to say that from the beginning, when I got the first phone call that they were being asked to rent cars because they were in the middle of rehearsal.
Well, I asked for my own car because I like to drive myself. I'm a Southern woman.
So I heard that Taraji was upset because she'd been asked to do a rental car. I personally called Toby Emmerich, who was at the time the head of Warner Brothers, and he said, well, that means we have to do cars for everybody. Then I said, then we do cars for everybody. And if it's necessary, I will pay for the cars myself. He goes, well, we don't want you to do that. So, from that was one thing, trailers were another thing, food was another thing,
and everything got handled.
I don't even know. You know what is so disturbing to me? Why is my name even in this conversation?
Because you're Oprah Winfrey.
Can I say something?
Why is my name in this conversation?
Before we leave?
Because I have just been the champion for everybody. Yeah.
I want to just say one thing. I'm a mother of young kids. Social media has become a thing. Social media has become a thing where they will take something that's not even true and run it and run it and run it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's almost like you guys, some of the interviews you're posting happened long ago, or it wasn't that, and they will take things. Yes. So at the end of the day, when we first said that this movie was going to be a healing thing at CinemaCon, I knew without a shot of a doubt that people would try to break that down. Anything that has healing a part of it, they will do so. So we have to overlook all of that other stuff and keep shining bright, because this movie, The Color Purple, is healing the land, baby. So no matter what, I just want to say, it's nonsense.
There is no thing. There isn't anything, because...
Okay, so to give context to the audio clip that you just heard, there has been some controversy around the movie The Color Purple, and that was a movie Mom and I went to go see during Christmas. So we wore our purple, to the movie, and there was a conversation, a clip that came up with Taraji P. Henson, DMV native, and when she was discussing how she was willing to leave acting altogether because she has been grossly underpaid. She has experience, not being valued for her work. And the discussion came up about her having to fight to have, a nice trailer, to have her driver, this, that, and the other. All things to what you heard in that clip. Oprah, when she found out who was a producer on the movie, she rectified that when it happened. But because Oprah is attached to this movie as an executive producer, people have been dragging her instead of the people who were involved in the day-to-day, saying that she did these Black women wrong. Danielle Brooks is one of the actresses in the movie. And, you know, I think people forget when you have such big projects, even speaking from my own personal experience, when you have projects where there are multiple people involved, sometimes you are, as a leader, your job is to know the most important details, right? And you trust your team to handle the minutia or the day to day. So to blame someone like Oprah for the lack of accountability for other people who were involved in the movie isn't, it's, in my opinion, isn't right. But Mom, what are your thoughts?
What I would like to say is that Miss Winfrey is a force to be reckoned with. And she is the type of woman, from where I sit on the sidelines, who takes care of her people. There are folks who like to be negative, period, no matter what. They always want to try a controversy. They're taking a back seat, and they're actually looking through a black glass window. They don't really know. They just hearsay. So I honestly believe, all the characters, by the way, the movie was excellent, and hats off to everyone who was in it. They were absolutely wonderful. And Miss Winfrey is not the type of person to leave anyone behind. Just think, all those people that she brought with her years ago, who are now famous, Dr. Phil, and there's others, Rachel Ray, there's other people who have came under the umbrella of Oprah Winfrey, and she made them successful. They're millionaires. So these ladies in this Color Purple movie are not to be taken lightly. They are forces as well. And again, as I stated before, Miss Winfrey will look out for her people. Shun the negative, take the positive. This is the new year, people. Stop being so negative.
Okay, Mom, I like your hot take, and what Oprah mentioned, and I think Fantasia mentioned it as well. Social media loves to take a clip and run with it, but that also does not bring into accountability of the damage that could be done with clips like that are sound bites for sensationalism. So
that was intentional.
It was intentional, yes, to bring down the positivity around the movie, especially you mentioned it, Mom, we saw a phenomenal movie that brought people out on Christmas. Of all days, we should be in the house. We went out on Christmas wearing our purple to go see The Color Purple. So I hope
support one of ours.
To support one of ours. So I really hope that this is the last that we hear about all this surrounding the topic of Taraji, the movie, et cetera, and that we address the greater problem of lack of inclusivity when it comes to pay for Black and brown actors in Hollywood, and that people finally start getting the money that they deserve by speaking up about these topics that don't damage the reputation of others. All right. In our next story, Mom picked it. We're going to talk about The Breakfast Club. Now, to give y'all some backstory, my mom loves her pop culture. She watches TMZ. She watches The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God.
She did when it was on.
Huh?
I said when it was on.
Don't go there. But as you guys know, Angela Yee left the show, I think last year, to explore other business ventures. And since then, they have been rotating co-hosts to kind of like test out who can, have the chemistry of joining the show. Now, apparently, Just Hilarious, who is from Baltimore, Maryland, she announced on her social media, and this was shared by DJ Quicksilver on his channel, her announcement that she has now been confirmed as a new host of The Breakfast Club. This did not go over well with Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, where they shared on their show their frustration about, I guess, not being kept in the loop about what was going on at the top. And this was posted on the Shade Room. I don't really think of the Shade Room as news, but this was the quickest resource I could find about it. During a recent segment of the Rumor Report, Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy expressed their confusion about getting a new co-host, permanent co-host, after rotating guest co-hosts for the past year. However, fans of the show are a bit confused as well, as it was previously shared that Just Hilarious was locked in to become the official new co-host. Now, that tells me something about the leadership at the top, Mom. It tells me somebody not talking to somebody when it comes to the decisions that are being made. And two, they may not have been fully on board with having Just Hilarious join the show and maybe want to give some more time to test out various people before committing. But with Just Hilarious, what she did, in my opinion, that was a bit premature. Her announcing it before there was an official statement made by the Breakfast Club and iHeartRadio, who is the parent company where the Breakfast Club is broadcasted, was a bit premature on her part. Because the last thing you want to do, and you know this too, Mom, working in HR, you get the job offer, you're excited. Nothing is confirmed until that paperwork is signed and you have your official start date. I guess Jess took that job offer as being her official paperwork and decided to announce it to the world, but could have possibly cost her the position. What's your insight on this?
I think it's good because, just like you said, you don't say anything until you get that start date and that letter, that email to confirm. You're even, and may I add this too, even if you're in new orientation and something goes wrong, they can still pull you out from the position. So she should have never said anything. They should have had a meeting. The leadership should have a meeting with all of them to let them know prior to her making this announcement. So if she does not get the position, she deserves that because she put it out there too soon. Now she has to backtrack because they may pull her and say, "Well, we're sorry. We thought you were good for the, for this position, but no, we're seeking other professionals, other talent."
And one thing marketing and comms will do is issue a retraction real quick, to let people know there's been X, Y, and Z story out there. We have confirmed that this is not true, and put it in paper with ink and put it on every media outlet possible. So hopefully this works out.
Did TMZ get a hold of it?
I don't know yet because this just came up on my feed today. So there may be updates about this story by the time the show goes live this upcoming week.
Okay. All
right, so those are our stories. Thank you, Mom, for joining me for What's the Brew.
You're
so
welcome.
We're going to get into next our interview segment. And like I mentioned before, my mom is joining me today, and I decided to do something a little different, having her record the entire episode with me instead of just the interview segment. Because again, if you have met my mother, whether virtually or in person, you know she is a time in a good way. The first thing we're going to do before we get started is we're going to give Mom her flowers and read her receipts, aka her bio, and then jump into the questions. Sound good, Mom?
Sounds good, but let me have this disclaimer for a second. I'm representing myself as a HR professional, not with the agency that I work with. So this is based on experience.
Thank you, Mom.
Okay, go ahead, Bonnie. Go ahead.
You better have your HR hat on. I see you.
Hey! I wear boo. I love that. Okay.
Jannette Stewart matriculated from Harrisburg High School in Dauphin County. Due to her academic achievements, she was selected to participate in the Stay in School program to work as a student clerk typist at the New Cumberland Army Depot in New Cumberland, PA. After graduating early at the age of 16, my mama's smart, y'all. She continued to work there full-time for 5 years, moving to the Navy Ships Part Control Center in Mechanicsburg, PA, where she worked for another 5 years before leaving to take a position at the Pentagon. Yes, the Pentagon, as a foreign liaison coordinator working for Colin Powell. A few years later, she left the Pentagon to accept a position with the Environmental Protection Agency in the Human Resources Department, where she has remained for over 30 years. In addition to her extensive background in HR, she serves as a member of the National Black Employment Program Advisory Council and EPA Gears of Government Awards program team. Jannette, aka Mom, has received numerous awards for her work, including the 2019 Office of Mission Support Exemplary Customer Service Award, the 2019 Office of Mission Support Unsung Hero, the 2020 Silver Medal for Superior Service for Outstanding Work during the COVID-19 crisis, leading to onboarding over 1,000 new employees without delay. The 2022, okay, back to back, and 2023 John Cooper Partnership Awards for her work in the Diversity Outreach Branch, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility space. She is a proud mother of her beautiful daughter. Oh, that's me! Yvonne Pearson, aka Vonnie, and bonus mom to her circle of friends. Sometimes I think that she has more favorites when they're mine. In her leisure time, Mom is a creative who will give Martha Stewart, no relation, maybe, a run for her money with a driven passion for DIY projects, refurbishing furniture, painting, crocheting, macramaing, decorating, and more. She is an avid reader and in her spare time enjoys writing as well as traveling, fashion, and during football season, you can always count on her sharing her enthusiasm for the Eagles or the Steelers. In a few years, she will retire. She will retire from the federal government and is looking forward to doing the things she loves. And with that being said, welcome to Coffee with Yvonne. Mom!
Thank you
Hi,
so much
Mom.
for having me. Hi, Sweet Pea. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Of course, this is your officially second time on the podcast because we did the Raising a Creative episode. I think it was last season.
Yeah,
I think
that was good.
yes.
I thought that was
and then when I had the YouTube channel, were you on the YouTube channel with me? I can't remember. It's been so long.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Because I binge watched, and watched everything you produced since that time while I was working. And I learned a lot. It was great.
Appreciate your support. All right,
All
Mommy.
the time.
We're going to get into these questions. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right. So with the new year, we're in 2024. You know, we ate our black eyed peas, cornbread, have money in our pockets, all the things. With the new year comes new opportunities. For a lot of people, that means securing a new job. For those who are just starting their job search, what are some recommendations for where they should look and how they can stand out as a candidate for the role?
I would have to say LinkedIn. So since we're so into social media and those types of things, LinkedIn, and you can chime in to help me because I didn't get my job that way. You can say jobs. You can say jobs, which is a site for a federal position. And sometimes it's not what you know, but it's who you know.
Well,
the truth be told, the truth be told,
won't he do it?
But you have to be in a position to know that when you're applying for the job that you're correct. And that means if I go too far, just let me know. Credit, character, behavior.
CCB.
And you must make sure that you apply for the job that you're going for, but you must have those qualifications. Now, I also want to add this. If you say that you went to a college or university and graduated, you must have proof of a transcript, a real transcript. Because there was times when people way back in the day said they graduated from college and they bought, if you will, these.
Oh, no, Mom, that's not back in the day. They're still doing it now.
They're still doing it? Okay, so what happened at the agency, we asked these people for those transcripts. They couldn't produce them, so they had to be released. You can't pull the suits now, you know what I'm saying? You just can't.
You can't pull a Mike Ross. You can't pull a Mike
Ross.
So you're recommending
either have it or you don't.
When it comes to looking for a job, LinkedIn is a great place to start, which I agree. LinkedIn has been good to me when I was in my job search. You mentioned USA Jobs. For those who are unfamiliar, what is USA Jobs?
Again, it's a site for federal positions. They can be public, and it's a plethora of jobs in lots of areas. So it does, even in catering.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's not as if, yeah, it's not as if you can't find a job. And what you do is you create an account, you get your password and all that good stuff. They make sure you do double verifications of who you are. But you can find a lot of positions anywhere in the world, anywhere. But when you do look, make sure you're looking for things that you qualify for. Read that entire vacancy announcement. Nowadays, the response for your qualifications come back sooner. There used to be a time when you would have to wait longer to see if you qualify. Those days are over.
Okay.
Those days are over.
So even if you aren't looking for a traditional office position, you can still find great roles in service-based positions on like a USA Jobs or like a LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. That's really good to know. Thank you for that.
You're
So
welcome.
you mentioned LinkedIn. That has become like a visual resume, right? For candidates.
Yes.
A lot of times people, including myself, I've gotten reached out to by recruiters and, folks who are looking to fill roles. But a lot of times people don't really leverage that, Mom, in their job search. So I know you can find jobs on there, but how can you build out a robust profile that makes you stand out as the best candidate to attract employers?
Now, there was a time when people would pay somebody to do their resume based on their experience. And I had someone do that. It didn't work out well for me. So I'm like, okay. But they have to apply themselves, sit down and take notes about themselves, the jobs, what they have done in the past, and really put time and energy to make their resume stand out. Say if I was a cake baker, I'm going to be on my resume, I'm going to be the best cake baker that you ever hired.
So how do you optimize that for your LinkedIn though? Because you have who you are on paper, but then now you have this digital version of yourself on LinkedIn. So how do you best use those tools? Is it the right profile picture? Is it like, listing out your skills and things like that, or even including like media, like for me, for example, when I was on TV, I included that clip on my LinkedIn profile as a way of showing my experience. So are those some ways you can do that?
Absolutely, because it shows that you're genuine doing what you do and that they can look you up. And now, not in the past, but now people can find out who you are because they can Google you. So it's not like you're not hiding. And not only that, even when you're in college or high school, the world now that we know is totally different from where I came up or when I grew up as a baby boomer. Whatever you do is no longer private. It's not. So when you're posting on LinkedIn and I want to hire this person, I'm going to really look them up to make sure we got the right person. You may look good on paper, but your behavior and your character means a whole lot.
Yeah, and I think people forget that your LinkedIn is your professional social media. So it's a good way for you to share when you were included in an article or wrote like, a think piece for something related to your industry, because people forget, depending on what field you're in, I'll speak for marketing and communications. A lot of times you may have to sit on panels, right? Or conduct interviews on behalf of your organization. They want to make sure you're not going to embarrass them based on the kind
That's
of role
right.
that you have and that you're going
That's right.
to present well. So please
That's right.
make sure when you're building your LinkedIn, you show your best self and how you can be an asset to them outside of that role that you're applying for.
And not only that, even when you post it on TikTok, be careful what you post because they don't want someone who does not have this self together, who cannot be a professional. You have to be a professional.
So when it comes to transferable job skills, and that is defined as, your hobbies or interests that have been developed over time, right? For example, podcasting, transferable job skill. Sometimes candidates, Mom, don't feel comfortable including their interests outside of work that may apply to the role that they're applying for on their resume. In your opinion, why should they consider including that information?
Because it makes them seem more valuable, if you will. They're not just stuck to one thing. And it gives your hobbies and your things that you like to do, such as in your case, Ronnie, you have your own LLC, you have this podcast, and you're a marketing manager. You have multiple things, plus you're very talented in other ways. It gives the employer something to say, oh, okay, he or she or they, now you have to be careful with the pronouns, is more than we expect. And we want to bring this person on board because you have multiple things in multiple areas, not just one thing.
Yeah, and that could, to your point, end up getting you a role that you initially didn't apply for because you were a better fit. For my
Absolutely.
current role, that wasn't the role I applied for with my organization, but they saw my transferable job skills in addition to my professional experience and were like, she's better for this area of our marketing team. And it ended up with me expanding my producer hat from not just a podcast, but also video content for the limited series that I co-produced with our production team. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So thinking about salary negotiation. Now, let me go back a little bit. You got the job, right? You're excited. You're like, "Yes, we're getting to the money." But then another job offer comes through, and then another one, and then another one. Now, while this is a great problem to have, for those who this is new for, it could be overwhelming. And I'm also speaking from experience for this. How can someone navigate this space? Is it okay to let the recruiter know that you want to think about it before accepting and weigh your options?
Well, here's the thing, and I know from experience, because you can accept the position, but if a better position comes up, paying you more money, you can accept that too. Just leave the other job. You're not putting yourself in a box with any restraints. The decision is yours. If more money appeals to you and that job or position is what you want, if I'm in a position, I'm sending a new orientation and say, oh, I just got another job offer. Guess what? I'm going to step out and say thanks, but no thanks. I'm moving on. And it has happened to a lot of employees, especially the young people. They don't sit for nobody. This new generation at the boomers, they hit the ground running. They know their worth.
So say that you're not in orientation, but you're just looking at the offers and the various benefit packages that was shared with you by the various recruiters or HR professionals, and you're just trying to make a decision. Should you tell them, can I have at least to the end of the week to let you know, or something like that?
Sometimes they don't give you that much time.
How much time do they usually give you?
Well, I mean, it would be the end of the week, but if you're dealing with 4 different jobs, you have 4 different time frames and 4 different answers. So
Okay.
you have to just take a moment, sit back, take a moment, and think about what you want, what's best for you. And then the job that you want, let them know, and then also follow up with the others. Say, thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it, but I accepted the position ABCXYZ. And sometimes they'll say, well, who is it? Never tell them who you're going with. Never
Hmm.
tell them how much more you'll be making. That's your business.
Okay.
Just thank
Okay.
them for the opportunity and move on.
And make sure that you're respectful in your response, because you never know,
Very respectful.
as you grow in your career, a bigger opportunity can come with that organization. They may circle back to you with a new and better bag than you were going to get before, correct?
That's right. Absolutely right.
So now that we're talking about, okay, you've accepted the job, now we have to negotiate our salary. And negotiating your salary, mom, is an area people, and particularly women and people of color, and myself, be honest, struggle with, because a lot of times we're just grateful for the opportunity, right? But then we realize we've undervalued ourselves by accepting the first offer. How can someone properly negotiate? And is it okay to ask for things like a signing bonus on top of that?
Now, in the federal government, it is what it is. But in private sector or non-profit organizations, you can have that option to negotiate those types of salary benefits. But with the federal government, it's on the GS scale from 1 to 15 to SES. And so, say if you come in as a GS9, step 5, but it's based on your experience, it's whatever the amount they put out there, but it depends. You are granted quality step increases every 3 years. But in the private sector, you negotiate that salary and that bonus, and that's what they give you. But you get other bonuses throughout your time in those positions. So they're not the same as far as salary is concerned. It's not. There's some people who can, but they're senior executive service members. They get 6% of whatever that is. So they come in nice, and not only that, they get other bonuses. We get awards, but the awards does not give you that extra to say, oh, I'm going out and buy a purse, pair of shoes. It's just pennies to $1. But when you negotiate your salary in the private sector, you benefit more. But government seems a little secure, or it did. But nowadays, it wavers. But either way, having a job that you could be independent and self-sufficient is a great thing.
So getting back to those who are outside of the government, you get the salary offer, say it's, I don't know, $60,000 a year, right? Like it's a coordinator level salary. And you're like, ooh, based on the role, it seems like this is more worth a $70,000.
In this area? Not
I'm
in
just
this
saying
area.
in general,
You need more than that. Oh.
but that the person who got the offer is like, oh, based on the role requirements, this looks like more of a $70,000 to $75,000 role.
Right.
How do you respectfully counteract? How do you respectfully counter what their offer is in writing or on the phone with a recruiter? What are some suggestions for how you can approach it?
Because of your resume, what your experiences, your hobbies, your talents, other things, you're bringing in so much more than they can really give you. So you have that opportunity to say, look, I don't only do this, I do this, this, and this. And it gives them the chance to say whether yes or no. If it's 60, take it to 65. Get a $5,000 bonus. You know what I mean? Or $10,000 bonus. You don't want to undervalue who you are just to have that position. And especially if you get more than one offer, you giving me 60 over here and somebody giving me 80 over there, where I'm going for the 80.
Okay, so you can basically say in writing, like, thank you so much for the job offer. I noticed that you offered me 60,000. I would like to counter with, I always go a little higher because I know they're going to meet me in the middle. I would like to counter with 68 or like 70 because my skills I will bring to the role in X, Y, and Z area. I look forward to hearing your response, kind of thing.
Right. But then you get another offer, and they're going to offer you 80,000 off the bat, and then you can negotiate that too. What would you do? Would you still take the 60 versus the 80?
It honestly depends on what the work environment is going to be like. Because sometimes the money, as I have learned, and you know this as well, sometimes the money is not worth the headache. And
right, because the transportation, getting to that job.
I'm talking about like in terms of the organizational structure and the leaders you're going to be working for.
Right.
Sometimes the money is not worth the headache. And so while you may be getting less somewhere else, you could be in a better work environment that will foster your growth. Like there are other benefits like educational development and things like that.
And work-life balance as well.
Yes, because
that's what you want.
A check is not worth your mental health.
No,
and I speak from experience. A check is not worth your mental health at all.
You feel stressed out, overwhelmed, and the management is breathing down your throat.
You're literally crying in your office. I'm talking to you, Yvonne, in 2018. You're crying in your office.
Oh, yeah. People have to really take into account the mind, body, and soul is more important to take care of yourself. And you don't want people who are trying to come against you and stressing you out
for a check. Yeah. There's definitely pros and cons. You have to make sure when you're negotiating the salary, one, that they pay you for what you're worth, but two, were the vibes vibing when you interview for this role? Because if the vibes you're picking up when you're interviewing, that there's high turnover, that these people are stressed out, listen to your gut. Don't ignore it because the check looks good. Because I guarantee you, they can only hide their dysfunction for so long. Eventually, it's going to come to fruition. So, say you've been at your job for some time and you feel like you're ready for a promotion, right? And I know this can be nerve wracking for some people because it can seem like, you're just in it for the money, but you're not, So how can you have this discussion with your leader to let them know that you're ready to move up in the workplace, not just take on more work for the same salary, but move up with a monetary promotion and perhaps a title bump as well?
Well, some of the jobs, well, a lot of the federal jobs have merit promotion, and they have grade level structures. So, say if you come in at the 9, the next promotion is the 11. It's up to the supervisor. If they feel that you're ready to move to the next level, they will submit the paperwork with their approval to take you to that next level. If you don't get what you want, apply for other jobs.
Say that one more time.
Apply for other jobs. Don't stay there because of commitment and loyalty. You do what's best for you. Because bottom line is, no one can take care of you better than you can. And no one has your best interest in you but you. It's all about what you want.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, sometimes that loyalty can be your downfall.
It was mine. I just have to put it out there.
I know, Mom.
So, but the thing is, I'm not in poverty, and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, I feel a lot of good things are coming. I won't put it out there. I just say it that way. But for the young people who are out there looking for jobs, don't settle for less. Always put yourself first. And then another thing I want to add, when you do apply for jobs and you have a good gut feeling, don't tell everybody what you're doing. Keep it to yourself.
Keep it close to the chest, right, Mom?
Very close to your chest.
Like, for example, do you want to tell that one story?
Oh,
go ahead, Mom.
Not everyone has your best interest at heart. And there are people who you think are your friends, associates, whatever. People are jealous. They don't want you to succeed. They really don't. In the back of their mind, they're thinking, who does she think she is? She's going for what she wants, or he's going for what they want. But you don't let someone hold you back. That loyalty, that commitment, that is like dust. It goes away. Look out for yourself. Tell your story, Ronnie. Go right ahead, boo.
So, my current role, I work as a senior marketing manager, leading a multitude of projects. But the interesting thing is, when I was in my final interview stage for my current role, it was a day Mom, myself, Aunt Ann, and my childhood bestie Alicia, we were scheduled to leave for Italy that morning. In my mom's room, because I stayed overnight, I set up my laptop and I was doing a full presentation for my now manager, as well as one of the partner departments I work with, showing them why I was the best fit for the role. And Mom had an inkling, but she didn't know exactly, that I was really back there interviewing for a job. She thought I was working. And then when we were in Italy, your girl read the offer email wrong, but I got the offer while we were traveling to Milan. And I was like, oh, okay, I think they want me to come back for another interview. It turns out they offered me the job, y'all, and I almost blocked my own blessing by not responding. And then something said,
what I said to you is read it again.
Yes. And then I read it again at the airport when we were going home. And I was like, I think they just offered me the job. And that's when I finally told Mom what was going on. And she said, I knew it.
I knew.
But
I knew what was going on.
The point to the story is, I went on multiple interviews at that time frame of that I was looking, and I had multiple job offers, but I kept them all close to the chest. I didn't discuss them with anybody. I only discussed them with one of my college besties, Danielle, because she also works in HR.
That's my sweetheart.
Yes, to review the compensation package, the type of role, the pros and cons, et cetera, et cetera. So it wasn't until I made my final decision, I looped the people who are closest to me in on what I was doing. So my point to the story is it's okay to keep it close to your chest until you feel ready to share it and you feel that it's the best decision for you. You can't let others influence what your career decision is going to be, because they may lead you to somewhere else where you're going to be very unhappy.
That's right.
And that's
right.
not the best thing for you, because then you can find yourself looking for a new job 3 months later because you're just so over the place that you went to when you didn't listen to your gut.
I just want to say this. I'm so proud of you because I know your journey. I'm so happy and honored to be your mother because you make me proud. I mean, you're human. You're just that person who not only deserves so much, but you help other people. And because of that, you're definitely blessed, and you'll be blessed for quite some time because you're not selfish.
Thank you, Mommy.
You have a heart of gold.
Thank you. But also at
You're
the same
welcome,
time, don't
woman.
try me.
Don't you try, daughter. Don't try.
Don't try me. Don't be fooled by these pink glasses.
Just
Don't
like
be fooled.
Quentin Kinte got his foot cut off, we'll cut you off.
Oh my Lord. Lord have mercy. So, Mom, I can't believe this, but we're already at our last question before we get into our quick fire question.
Really?
I know, right? So you mentioned about social media a little bit earlier in the interview when you talked about TikTok, right? Being mindful of what you post. Now, social media can be a tricky place, and people, to your point, have lost their jobs because of it. Can you elaborate a bit more about why it is important to be mindful of what you post on your channels? And I would like for you to talk about, things like your political views, views about things that may be a little controversial for the office. Because I think people forget. I think people forget that it's very easy to find stuff on the intranet.
Yes.
And you don't want to be sitting next to Miss Charlene at the lunch table and she Googled you and knows what you really think about Miss Charlene. So, Mom, can you bring some insight to that?
So here's what I want to say too. I never forget some time ago there was the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And some of my colleagues were saying, we're going to go out there and we're going to protest. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. You can't do that because you're a federal employee. They said, oh, I didn't know that. They was getting ready. And the thing is, especially in the federal government, for the love of crying out loud, there's certain things you just can't do. Protest is one. You can't have bad credit. Two, you've got to make sure your bills are paid. You cannot act out in public. Don't matter where you are. Somebody always have their head on swivel looking at you. Your character has to be beyond reproach. People, please, for the love of crying out loud, don't do anything that would be damaging to your future. Smoking, you cannot. Do marijuana, you can't. You can't excessively drink, you cannot, because that has to deal with your character. And the thing is, you don't have to be squeaky clean, but close to it. Very close to it. Very close to it.
So you're saying, Mom, utilize your close friends feature on Instagram instead of posting it publicly.
Yeah, don't put nothing you don't want to embarrass yourself publicly, because it will get back to your employer. I don't care if it's on a weekend. People know people and they will tell on you. There's lots of snitches out there who deserve stitches, but it's your behavior that got you to that point where you will lose, you will lose your job. They'll let you explain to yourself, but then at the end, you're gone. You're out of there.
And then also too, Mom, thinking about it from a leadership perspective, like as a senior marketer, I don't work for the federal government, but I work for a very well-known organization.
It's the same thing.
And no,
Same thing
and that's what I'm getting to. You still have to be mindful about how you present on these channels because your name is tied to a lot of bigger projects that are associated with that organization. And you don't want your character, to your point, Mom, to ever come up in question about whether or not you should be part of that project based on your personal choices. Right. And also to back it up, just being transparent, y'all. I know we love to share everything about our lives on social media, but not everything belongs on social media. Some things can be left in the group chat. Some things can be left just, one-on-one amongst friends that aren't, active on these channels, but not every single thing about your life needs to be shared on social. You can also, or social media, Facebook, you can also curate how your feed looks. And this is how. In your settings, there are ways to protect your privacy. You can restrict what people can see on your social media platforms. You can set your profile solely to private, where they can't see nothing but your social media handle and your picture. You can also set it to restricted, in which they can only see certain videos or images that you allow. And then also you can do things like block people from seeing your stories content or any kind of content that you post. There's no reason in this day of this digital age why people should have full access to you that you have not allowed already. That block button is strong for a reason. And also you do not have to accept your coworkers' friend requests.
Amen. That's one thing I want to say. You hit the point right there. If they say, "Oh, Jannette, I see you on Facebook, TikTok, whatever. I'm seeing your request denied or block or whatever it is."
You do not have to accept it. And even if you do accept it, you can put them on restricted where they cannot have full access to you. So please keep that in mind. If you are going to be on social, be responsible and think about what you post before you post.
That's right.
All right, Ma. So we are finished with our questions now. I got a couple quick fire questions for you. Now, these are top of the dome. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, you're patting your head. I'm going to pat my head too. Okay. Yay.
Top of the dome, top of the dome.
Top of the dome, top of the dome. All right. In your opinion, who is the best rapper or singer of all time? And if you choose Michael Jackson, like you always do.
I got the man's poster downstairs and quite a few other things in the room. So I have to stick to what it is. But I would have to say, can I give two? Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z.
So you're going to give two rappers?
Two, yeah. Yes. Biggie Smalls, he's passed because he's gone. And Jay-Z because he's here. Jay-Z got mad talent. Mm-hmm.
And to give you guys context, you guys, my mom is actually, she likes Jay-Z for his work ethic as well. When I went to the Book of Ho, remember I brought you back the program pamphlet from the Brooklyn Library. So she's not capping y'all. She actually does really like Jay-Z. All right. Next question. You played the lottery, right? Your numbers hit. Okay. Your numbers hit, mama.
Yeah.
Okay. She got money. Yes. What is the first thing you do with your winnings?
I would have to, honestly speaking, I would make my daughter a millionaire, point blank.
Oh, wait, pre or post tax? Because the government going what they could.
I mean, whatever they get whatever the government leaves me after I win, I'll make sure my daughter is well off, point blank. But then I will also anonymously pick 10 charities and give them at least $100,000.
Can I help pick the charities?
You're my daughter. You can do whatever you want.
Yay! And then
but even though you be a millionaire, you would still have to work because you're still young.
Oh no, I like to work.
Okay, of course you do. I put in the trust fund and say at a certain age, every year you get $1 million or $2 million in your account.
Okay.
That's how I would do it for you.
Would you do any investment properties? Like, would you buy like a a vacation home in another country or something like that?
I would have not only one, but quite a few, just to get away from folks.
Now, as long as we had one in Paris, that's all that matters.
Oh, we went everywhere, every place that we went in 2019 and 2022. You guarantee France, London, Milan, and Rome. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, I'll pass on Rome. I would prefer Milan because it's more.
You didn't like Rome?
Rome?
You didn't like Rome?
It was cute, but Milan was more my tea. Milan was more my tea, Mom.
Really?
Yes, I like Milan more.
Oh my goodness!
I really did. Rome was cute. It was really nice, but I really loved Milan. I really did.
Give me a little bit back. Is that where all the stores were where we took the photo shoot?
Yes, that was Milan.
Oh yeah, girl. I mean, listen, people. Save your dollars, whatever you have to do, but travel. It's worth it. You don't have to wait till you retire to travel, but save your coins. But pay your bills first. But it's absolutely beautiful.
So, last question for you. I know you don't drink coffee, but what kind of coffee would you be?
I would be black.
Black coffee, no sugar, no cream.
Because it's strong and robust.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody. And it's not for
everybody. Yeah, it may be bitter, but guess what? If you can't handle it, you just can't handle it.
And with that being said, that's how we close out the interview. Thank you so much, Mom, for joining me for coffee.
You're welcome.
How can people find out more about you, or perhaps reach out to you for like some career advice around like HR, or how they can secure and keep the bag in their next level?
You had to go through my daughter.
Well, you heard that, and you know where to find me. But I hope you enjoyed today's chat. To learn more about me and my business, you can check out pinkdollhousemarketing.com on my website, or you can follow my business page on Instagram. You can slide into my DMs. That's cool. At Pink Doll House Marketing. My personal page, Pink Doll Style on IG, and on TikTok. Yes, I am on the Clock app. I am under @PinkyCreates. I'll chat with you soon. Okay, bye. Bye, Mom.
Bye. Love you.
Love you too. Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Doll House Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.